Three, two, one. Good morning, Internet. The time is 10:30 a.m. on September 28th, 2022. This is episode 23 of the Catr and Kenard podcast, Morning Zoo, edition 3. I'm Chris Kenard. I'm here with my longtime and beloved co-host, Michael the Catr Friedman. How are you, sir?
I've never heard it put that way. I'm doing well. Hey, before I forget, because we usually send out well wishes at the end, but I wanted to just tell people stay safe with Hurricane Ian and all the other storms.
Oh yes, I for anyone who might be listening in like the next week or in the next year, um I'm let me say this, if I can just go on a bit of a tangent. I'm very I'm thankful that like the USA government feels the need to like provide for places like Ukraine in the midst of what's going on over there. Lots and lots of dollars. Cool, awesome. We should extend that same privilege to states here in regards to Mississippi, who I know doesn't have any clean water at the time. Baltimore, who I heard is dealing with E. coli in their water, and with Puerto Rico, with most of the country being devastated by water. Like if you do your Googles, you'll see that like most of their electricity is done privately, and a lot of the citizens there are not satisfied with that, including one Bad Bunny, who brought a lot of attention to that with one of his more recent music video. So yeah, like if you're able to extend a hand and help out a neighbor even across the world, please do so. That's what we need more than anything. But I digress. We were supposed to come before you all last like months ago, but I unfortunately locked myself out of my Google account, not allowing me to log back into YouTube and record the show with the Catr. So I also want to say, if you don't like have any like money to contribute to mutual aid, I highly recommend you get some two-step verifications for all of your social media and emails, so you don't like suffer how I did for like the entire summer. Just having to like not being able to use GPS, email. It was a nightmare scenario, and I do not wish to repeat it, and I shall not ever. I updated my email to my current phone number. I removed my old phone numbers, and now thanks to Hotmail, like we're back in business, and I'm very, very thankful for that. And had things not gone the way they were, had things not gone awry, we would have had our beloved Mother's Day special. Thankfully, our mothers still listened to the music and had some things to say about them.
Yeah,
Michael, what was your experience about that? Oops,
yeah,
sorry.
you and your mom, Francine, right?
Yes, everyone loves Francine. She's the
Uh,
best.
is her middle name start with an L?
No, actually,
That'd
it
be
starts
so
with an
dope.
M.
That then you could call her Flo.
That would be so funny. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna tell her you said that.
But anyway, so uh, Kenard and Francine recommended for my mom and I to listen to "Knocks Me Off My Feet" from songs in the double, well, actually triple if you're being technical, but his magnum opus. But I actually wanted to say something about that. So I've I've talked about my CD project before, um, and it's pretty in depth. And what's the word I'm looking for? In depth. Yeah, in depth. And I've listened to what I wanted to listen to by Stevie, Mr. Stevie Wonder, but they always say that his classic is that CD, and I've listened to Songs in the Key of Life before. Um, and then the other one that I wanted to listen to, which I did, was and you can maybe look it up for me, Kenard. It's his. I think it's first CD. It was when he was really young. And I think he was his moniker at that time was Little Stevie. So, but then I hear that Intervisions and Talking Book are pretty considered classics too. Um, and then I hear also the CD with Sunshine of My Life. That one's pretty good. So yeah, I might have to might uh, it sounds like what I've said that I've, no pun intended, closed the book on Stevie Wonder, but I might have to open it up and listen to Intervisions and Talking Book, and some other things. Um, anyway, so you and your mom recommended that song, "Knocks Me Off My Feet," and my mom and I uh, recommended "The Stranger" by Billy Joel. So
Yeah, I made sure I had the document like in one of my tabs just so I can easily recall it if needed. And I noticed that the review that my mother wrote is missing from the document.
ooh.
What's that about? No one's edited the document since I was last on it, right?
Yeah, I looked at it a little bit, um, but I don't.
While I'm pulling on my email to read it for the audience, would you like to read your mother's thought on Knocks About My Feet?
Sure. One of the things I am going to say is that, to be honest, I don't know if that's "The Stranger" is really a song I really like. I guess I like the whistling part,
Well, it was
um,
your mother's recommendation anyway.
but it was both. But I do like the whistling part. And my mom told a story. I think the last time we did a show that she whistles that a lot. Uh, and I actually have a little bit of a. I'm throwing you a little bit of a curve here. My mom saw the review that your mom did. My mom had written up a review prior to you sending your mom's review. And then when my mom saw what Francine wrote, she she said, I think I might need to add more. So I my mom went back to the drawing board and actually fully fleshed her review out. So
Oh, cool.
uh, what I have in front of me is longer than what you had had uh, looked at. So yes, sure, I can start while you're looking for your mom's,
Oh, I have it up, so please go ahead. I'd love to hear what you'd have to say.
and then I can write, and then after that, I'll read you what I wrote.
No. Yeah, yeah, sure, of course.
Uh, yes or no? Which one? Um, so my mom wrote, Stevie's voice is soothing and beautiful. It is so smooth you could glide on it. This is a sweet love song, but I am not so sure his love interest realizes how he loves her, since he states he doesn't want to burden her. I love the percussion, I love the bass line. The song takes you to another place and makes you want to move to the beat. So that's my mom's review. Um, it's a pretty positive uh, review. I just wrote a little bit of notes. Took some notes. Let's see. Let's see. So I actually, let's see. So I was looking at the lyrics from the manual. Uh, I first of all, I wanted to call you out because you
Oh,
and I.
really?
What's that?
Oh, really? A call
Yeah,
out, huh?
I know you're a big Stevie fan. You and
Yeah.
your family and you. Whatever. How I forgot how the correct way to say that. But anyway, you and I were talking off air like a couple weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure you know songs in the key of life like the back of your hand, right?
No, I would not say that I do.
Well, even though, but you've told me like early on in us doing this show that you listened growing up to Stevie Wonder. I
Oh,
thought
yes, definitely.
Yeah, I thought you would know the song that comes after Sir Duke, which is I Wish, and you didn't know what I was talking about. So,
And the track, yeah, I will definitely say that like I definitely don't have like the track list memorized on most albums. But yeah, had you like if like even a week ago, if you had told me that Sir Duke and I Wish were on the same album, I could not have told you like at all.
okay. And they're back to back, Sir Duke and then I
Yeah, and
Wish.
I honestly think that like Sir Duke was my first Stevie song in third grade. So that's kind of I guess I don't really know what to that doesn't really mean much to me honestly. It's like that's oh well. Like I think you can credit that to that like though Mr. Wonder is a staple to my taste, to the formation of my taste, he's not necessarily a priority also. Like there are some songs by him that like I sincerely, really, truly love, like a person in my life. But my focus is in other realms. And to be honest with you, if I had to choose between the two, I would choose I Wish only because I hear Sir Duke at work every day. And it's painful to hear that song at work every day.
So you don't memorize track lists. Were you did you mean for Stevie or for any album?
It would have to be something that like I'm listening to all the time to really, really know. Because even with one of my favorite bands, Periphery, I have to like make sure that when I put like the entire album into my queue on Spotify, like one of the songs specifically, I can't stand the version of, so I pick the second version of that song from another EP to like. Yeah, it's pretty difficult. Like I think on like it's basically like an artist to artist basis, but like I
Yeah,
really
I'm
like it. I think the realm of streaming has like kind of like messed me up in that way. And
I'm
also, I before you say anything else, good
yeah.
morning to our biggest fan, Living Abstraction, who writes, admittedly,
Okay.
while I grew up on Stevie, it was mainly from a greatest hits album that came out in the 90s, which I think I can kind of relate to.
Yeah, hi Aramide. I think I'm pretty good at memorizing a track list. But for songs in the key of life, with it being that many discs, I don't think I could. The only thing I can tell, I know what the first song is on the first disc. I know, like I said, Sergio comes before uh, I Wish. But let me get back to my notes here. Uh, and this is not really this, just like the thing I told you where I called you out. This, the second note here, it has nothing really to do about the song. Um, I mean, it has to do about a review of the song. Uh, for some reason, when I've been playing the song in my head, knocks me off my feet. It reminds me of the big hit song by Band Aid, the Christmas song, um, "Feed the World," I believe it's called.
Hmm.
I keep hearing that song when I'm playing uh, that song, and wasn't Stevie part of the kind of American version. They didn't really do a Christmas song, but for Africa,
You're asking me, and I don't even know honestly.
"We Are the World."
Oh, Where the World was he there? Probably.
I think Stevie was in that. So, anyway, I just wanted to say it reminded me of the Band Aid song. Um, let's see. I wrote. I don't think she knows. I don't think she really knows that he. This is all in his head because he uses the word imaginings in the song. I don't think this person that he loves knows that he loves her. Because it says, let's see, strolling the summer days of imaginings in my head. So it's really only one person, between one person, himself. Um, I didn't really even know imaginings was a word. Um, but then he uses the word something, Sumptin, which is definitely not a word. But um, anyway, I'm trying to read my writing. Uh, oh, oh, this is. I think we could try for another episode. Maybe I should. Yeah, yeah. I think we should try to get our moms on an episode together. Even though it didn't work out today, we could try for another time. But okay, so I said to you that I was going to ask you an emotionally charged question.
Please
You said I
ask.
could. So one of the lyrics is one of the lyrics is it's actually the first. It says, "I see us in the park." Did your parents meet in a park? Is that why this song's so close to you and your mom?
No, but it's so funny you mentioned that specific lyric because when I initially asked my mother to do the thing, she didn't even know the name of the song. She's like, "Oh, I think it's I don't want to bore you," and I'm like, "Okay, I'll look it up." And she sent me the lyrics. I see us in the park, strolling the summer days that seen through the eyes of my mind. I reach out for the part of you that lives in me that only our two hearts can find. And I told her like that's an amazing lyric. And I definitely like if not for like my third grade music teacher playing me like Sir Duke and whatever, it was my parents just like taking us like kids for a drive in the car. I specifically believe they had, I think, the cassette for Conversation Piece, which came out in 1995. And I remember the song Taboo to Love. But I'm not really, I know that my parents met in college and that my dad just like found religion again. But he met my mom and things like that. So I do CB's one of those artists where like I specifically like think of my parents and what music meant between the two of them. Even though they their taste varied here and there. But this was one of the few things they really truly agreed on. And I love the heritage of like meeting people who love Wonder's music. And just it's one of the few things that like a lot of people can agree on. And I seriously question a person who wouldn't like a Stevie Wonder record or song and things of that nature. So I hope that answers your question.
Uh huh. That does. Um, so it yeah, that definitely answers my question. Uh, what
Also, good
else?
morning, V. Thank you for joining us today. And yes, thank you for clarifying whether Steve was in that benefit track because I had to Google it real quick because I forgot.
Oh, the We Are the World.
Should we move on to the stranger?
No, I wanted to finish my. I
Oh, you
still
have
have
more to
some more
say. My
notes.
apologies. Go ahead.
That's all right. Um, let's see. So this is this is another note that's not really related to a review of the song. And by the way, I'll just tell you, the song, my review of the song, it's nothing, doesn't mean anything to me. I know it means something to you. Um, I, I like other tracks from Songs in the Key of Life. It's a good song. It's a good song, but it's not something that's going to appear on my iPod. So that's
That's
my
fair.
review. But most of my notes is not really about the sound of the song. It's it's just notes on the lyrics. That's basically what my review is. Um, it's not really a review. So like the other thing I was gonna say is, to me, Songs in the Key of Life is his, him being a philosopher at that part of his life, and him, Stevie, putting together his thoughts on record, his philosophies of life so far, which begs the question: would he? Because he's going to have more philosophies after that record came out. Is he going to put together a Songs in the Key of Life too, with more philosophies? Because that title makes it clear that Songs in the Key of Life. That's deep, life. So is he going to put together a second one? Because there are artists out there that have a popular CD and then they put together a sequel to it. Um, so I'm just putting that question out there in the atmosphere. Uh, there's there is one lyric that's a little trippy to me, um, and that is, let me find it. I think it's about clouds. These are just observations based off of the lyrics. Where is it?
I'm looking for it too. Are you referring to told only to the wind without without told only to the wind feeling felt even without being said, or is it in verse two?
Did I even write it down? Why would you feel I to the wind without being said? No, I think it might be. I should have put that in my notes. I think it's the under a lover's tree that's seen through the eyes of my mind. Um, but and this album didn't come out during the psychedelic era. It came out in '76. Um, but I just my question is, why would he feel like he would bore her by telling her he loves her? People tell their significant other that they, well, significant other is actually a sibling. Uh,
No,
uh,
that's not true. That's that you can use significant other for like the person you're in a relationship with, or like having yeah.
I just don't understand why he's burdened by that.
Oh, I do. I know that feeling very well.
Love that, and the last note that I had was love that's not said. Yeah, it feels like it's this
Unrequited.
this song is all about in your head. It's not about anything being said. It's all about the feelings in your head. Um, and then the last thing I'll say, I make a note of this Um, I made a note of this. It's just I'm not sure why he did this. Do you have? Can you pull up the picture that I took of the lyrics in the manual of the record of Songs in the Key of Life?
I have my text messages open. What about it?
So see where when it says knocks me off my feet, or it says knocks me off, and then it has looks like a little staircase, and it goes
Mm-hmm.
down to my feet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a note. Like, I listened to it to see like maybe his voice went down a little bit, but I don't think he did. I'm not sure why that staircase is there. So that's it for me. I know that was a little long, but that's it for me. If you want to read your mom's review about the could you tell me why does he feel like he's uh, uh, it's a bore to tell her I love her? Do you know?
Well, from my own point of view, and this is so personally, it's very easily for me to develop feelings for a person than my life and whatever, right? And some I feel that some men feel as though I know myself personally. I think of the song "Worth It" by Moses Sumney, where like he sings like I don't know if I'm worth it, and you see a similar thing here where Steve's like I don't want to bore you with it. I love you, but I don't want to bore you with it, and it's just like it is a state of like of like you almost don't feel like you almost feel as if like you don't deserve a person or that
Well, how are you
like
going to have a relationship?
well, that's the thing. It's like, oh, like you care for a person, but you're not sure if like you're gonna make like the take the risk of just like telling a person how you really feel, because it's like, oh, like if I confess my feelings for you, our friendship or like the way that we were could change forever.
You
And that
might
could be
be
devastating for a
rejected.
person. Certainly. Like that's certainly like a way. And like, like maybe like, oh, like you confess your feelings to a person and like you have a relationship, but things just get stale and then you lose them forever and things like that. Like I distinctly recall like I was talking to somebody and like I'm thinking things are cool, but then one day they were just gone and I felt some type of way about that. But like I think about how I still care for them to this day, and if they felt as if they had to leave without saying anything, that's just the way that it had to be. But I just like couldn't like just get over it for years, and it was very painful. And so like like, oh, I don't want to bore you with my trouble. It's like it's love is it's so very powerful. It's like, oh, like I'm so like concerned about like being a burden in your life, but like I love you so much that I have to at least consider it. And like that's where a song like this comes from, at least from my point of view.
Alrighty. Well, you are gauging the time, so
What we're gonna do
you're ready
now.
to do the stranger now.
So what I want to do is that I'm gonna read what my mother wrote about the song, and all I want to say before I read it is that in regards to Billy Joel, like some of his bigger songs like Uptown Girl and things like that, and like the Piano Man, hate those songs. Like full stop, hate those songs. But records like For the Longest Time and like Moving Out, I really like. And I also like the song he did for the Oliver and Company soundtrack. Super good song. And I
For the
never
what
heard the string
soundtrack?
Oliver and Company.
Okay.
It's a really good movie. I would highly recommend it. But when you recommended like The Stranger, I never heard it before, and so I listened to it. And I'm like, oh, this is a very enjoyable song, and I'm like, I wish that was a bigger. I wish that had more of a public appearance in my life than like freaking Uptown Girl. I don't ever want to hear this song ever again. So my mom reads and back up from the mic a little bit because I could hear like the rumbling of your breath when I moved to my headphones.
Okay.
Um, my mother writes, "Hey, I used to be a fan of most Billy Joel's music during my high school days because I had a couple of good friends that played his music in their car. I only liked his cuts, Honesty, and Only the Good Die Young. I really loved singing Honesty. It has grit and feels and a bit of bluesy soul. I knew the lyrics and could mimic his rough emphasis on some of the phraseology. The song The Stranger wasn't convincing as a lover who was distraught over their lover with a past or a past secret to hide. The first minute of the song has a Casablanca esque feel to it when Bogey appears through the fog to meet Elsa to say goodbye at the end of the movie. Here's looking at you, kid. There's mystery and intrigue to the solo piano and the whistling. But after that intro, you get interrupted with a kind of loud dance hall jukebox drivel in the second act of the jilted lover complaining about his lover, aka the stranger. The harshness in the tone of the music is a stark contrast to the opening. It was like he was playing around with the calm intro for another song, but used it to patch up a song that wasn't working. I'm not convinced that the singer is really in all that much agony over the stranger, especially if you compare it to the lyrics in his song Honesty. If that wasn't enough, Billy Joel replayed that opening intro for the last 42 minutes of the song as the ending? Nah, that's my truth, and I'm ready to defend it. Francine Owens.
42 minutes. What's that about?
Well, it's as if like the outro of the song is like really, really long, but that doesn't really bother me too much.
Yeah, it's not uh literally it's not 42 minutes, but um I first of all, did she did she use the word a word that I've never heard of, driffle?
Let me see. Yep. Dance hall jukebox drivel.
Drivel with a
Mm-hmm.
V.
Yeah.
What's drivel?
All right, let's do a quick Google real quick.
Also, make a note. Never
Nonsense.
nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
I've never viewed the movie Casablanca.
Honestly,
Uh,
neither have I. It's a bit of a classic, but I never watched it either.
yeah, and um, also I understand what she's saying about the intro, the outro. The intro and the outro are the same basically, and then the middle part is a totally different song. Um, but I definitely do not get the Casablanca reference. So, do you want to read your review of The Stranger?
I have no review. I just know that I enjoy the song, and I'm thankful you guys brought it to my attention.
Okay. And like I said, I'm not that big fan of the song. I like the intro and the outro. That's my favorite part. Um, so, what should we talk about next, my friend?
Sir, the floor is yours for the next 30 minutes.
And that's about this. Well, so I have an update. Um, I have an update where I have now I am now listening to CDs again because I said my vehicle wasn't working for the CD player. I went and bought a CD Walkman, um, and I started listening to CDs again. So uh, it's been an enjoyable experience. Um, and yeah, I'm happy about that.
I have a question, if you don't mind me asking.
Uh, Fire away.
What CD is in your Walkman right now?
Nothing.
Nothing. Well, what are you gonna listen to next?
Um, I can't, as part of the CD project. I don't really want to talk about what's coming up. I can tell you the last CD I listened to.
Yes, please.
Um, you I actually expect Ramade to know this one. Um, so let me know what he says here. There's It's a group called The Flies. and the
Is
CD is called Holiday Man.
hmm.
Anything from Aramide?
Well, I'll keep an eye on like the live chat, but I never heard of this band. Where did you hear this band?
Where did I hear it?
Yeah, I never heard of this band before.
Back in my childhood. I, but my, it's a little bit. Uh, I'm not talking. I'm not. This is not a drug reference, but it was a. It's a little hazy. My my memory for this song, and I'm pretty sure that I heard that the hit song. They're basically a one-hit wonder. Um, and that hit song from Holiday Man, it, it's pretty hard to remember. If I heard it, I,
You're
I
referring to "Got You Where I Want You"?
yeah.
Okay, I never heard that song before. I'm not gonna lie.
Um, good. But that's not the song I'm recommending you, which is later on in the
Oh,
show.
okay, okay.
You can go ahead and listen to "Got You Where I Want You." Um, did Aramide know that song?
No. When I look at the live chat, it's just it is the three of us, but I think he's just listening for now. What else is on the docket for you, sir? What have you
So,
been up to since we last recorded together?
um, I've been, I mean, nothing really. Just been busy
Work, sleep,
working.
cats, huh?
Just been busy working. Um, but trying to remember what I was. Yeah, I'm actually a little upset. You told me something off air before we started.
We can spoil it if you like, just for content.
I'm not. I'm not going to spoil it, but um, I mean, we sure. I was gonna,
Okay.
but you can tell me. You can tell me off air what you were going to tell me. Why we can't do this?
Yeah,
Um,
I'll go into explicit detail off air, but for those who may just a little inside baseball for our listeners. Catr presented to me with the idea of like, oh, let's review some Smashing Pumpkins, and
well,
they're one of
let's
like,
do a
hmm?
themed smash because we. I was going to do it for October. If I have to explain it, then it's not funny. But pumpkins October, um,
Ha.
and I really we've done one themed uh, artist episode. We did well. It was part of an episode. We didn't really talk everything. The whole episode wasn't all about the white stripes, but we did part of an episode. And I have episodes planned in my head of uh, talking about an artist that I was going to do the Smashing Pumpkins. And I've listened to everything that I've wanted to listen to by the Pumpkins. So that includes there is a digital only release called American Gothic. It's an EP. I listened to that. I listened to the double album Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. Um, I've listened to Siamese Dream. I've listened to Gish. Um, and another digital only, and it's not on iTunes anymore, called B Sides and Rarities, which is really, really good. Um, and actually, and then the last one is another B Sides and Rarities, but you can get this on a physical disc called Pisces Iscariot, and that's a B Sides and Rarities. And so I hear something in your background. Um,
Yeah, I'm next to the road.
so uh, so I, that's that's a thing for me with my CD project is um, that there are artists where I can't really render an opinion until I've listened to what I need, what I want to listen to, until I've finished listening to what I want to listen to from that artist. And I finally finished what I wanted to listen to. And there are a couple releases that the Smashing Pumpkins release. Uh, that that's a horrible sentence. Uh, that that have kind of tickled my fancy and and made me kind of want to open the book again and listen to it, and then I can render my opinion. But I think I'm finished. Um, I saw that they had this new CD out, um, which is like a three-part. They might have three different parts for it. It's like a rock opera or something, and it's kind of tickled my fancy a little bit. But I, 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 I feel like I'm done, and I was gonna talk because I really enjoyed the B sides and rarities, and my dad actually several months ago said said something about the pumpkins, and he said that they are really negative, and basically it wasn't a positive review of the pumpkins, and I think otherwise. I think they're a great band. So yeah, and then I was gonna recommend you a song from the Pumpkins on that episode.
Okay, so just to like be very straight to the point. The only reason why I feel that we it would be irresponsible of us to like tackle their work in the public sphere is that I think that Billy Corgan, frontman and like founder of the band, is dangerous. And anyone listening now can like do a quick Google and you'll see why that like I feel that like it's not good for our brand together to do such a thing. But seeing that like I saw you invested so much time into like the band's work, here's what I'll suggest. If there anyone listening like live right now or in the future wants to pay us to hear our take on like the Smashing Pumpkins somewhere in the near future, be it October or later on this or anytime, I will we can like record, we can do what we're doing now. We just won't call it the Catr and Kenard podcast. Like it'll be the two of us, like we usually do. It'll just be like a one-off, or like I don't know, however long it takes to review everything you want to talk about. Well, and like I'll just like say like scandal acknowledged, and we'll carry forward because I know that some people can like make the distinction of separating the art from the artist. I have a extremely difficult time doing such a thing for several artists, including some of my very favorite bands. So just in the interest of being socially responsible to the world out there, I don't think that like as like it's bad for our brand to do such a thing. And I'm hoping that when you see like the thing that I saw, you'll understand what I mean.
And you're gonna talk about that off air.
I'll send. I'll. It's like one of the people that I follow online brought some things up that I was not acutely aware of that made me uncomfortable. So I'll send to you then.
Okay. Um, Alrighty. I don't know what else to say about that. That's kind of alarming to me, but I'll be ready to hear what you have to say. Um, and so so off the let's change the subject a little bit.
Yeah. 15 minutes. What you got for me?
Yeah. So yeah. So one of the things that I started doing, I kind of didn't like doing this. Was I started making copies of my dad's CDs that um, you know I want to listen to, the project, but to give him his CDs back, I make I started making copies of his CDs. Um, that's one of the things that I've been up to. So that kind of answers your question.
Any albums that you'd share with the class here?
Uh, One I will share. Yeah. There's an album, and I'm not sure why this is the case here. There's a live album by Cat Stevens. Uh, I think it's called Live at the Cat's Attic. Um, and if you hold on, I'll go grab it real quick.
Hey, just to break the fourth wall for any listeners, how is it that both people that I work with here on YouTube are the type to like, wait a minute, I gotta go grab something and go grab a thing. I think that's so funny to me. I don't know. I guess I'll just keep talking to y'all while we wait for the Catr to return from his retrieval. To be honest with y'all, I have no idea who Cat Stevens is at all. And looking here on Spotify, he has over 7 million monthly listeners. Also goes by the name Yusuf. Yeah, I don't know him very well.
I did not uh, hear any of what you said. I
It's fine.
caught the end of it about Spotify, but the album is by Yusuf Cat Stevens, Yusuf slash Cat Stevens, YUSUF, and the CD is a CD and a DVD, A Cat's Attic, and the first CD has the CD, the actual, uh, not the DVD, the CD, is 19 tracks, and it shows 19 tracks on the CD. Has each track listing written down. But then when I put the CD to burn it, it only showed 18 tracks. So I tried looking. It's not available on his website.
You said Cat's Addict is the name of the
A
release.
A Cat's Attic.
Okay, let me see.
So that was a little strange.
Here we go. It was a TV program, according to Google.
It's from I forgot where it's from.
It's on Amazon.
It's on the back. It says 50th anniversary tour, filmed live on November 20th of 2016. The Shaftesbury, SHAFTESBURY Theatre in London.
It only offers a DVD when I see it.
So that was a little strange. Yep.
Well, that's neat. I'm hoping we'll hear some thoughts on that when you get a chance to listen to it in full.
Yeah, I don't know when that's going to be, but I'm wondering why it shows 18, not 19. It says on the disc. It clearly says on the disc. There's no manual, I don't think. No, there's no manual. But yep. So yeah, I've been making copies of my dad's CDs, or mom's, or brothers. I have part of my CD project, and you didn't really want me talking about my CD project anymore.
Well, if anything, it's like I think what myself and the audience would love to know if there are any like developments that have been changed since the last time you bring it up. That's all.
It would just be more things to add to it that I've it's not developments. It's just stuff that I didn't mention
Mm.
previously. Um, and there's no developments. Um, there's no developments really. But I there are CDs that I oh, I did come up with. I should bring up the document actually. Um, I
Yeah, I'll pull that up too. What specifically on the document are we talking about here?
I actually okay. So
I've got it up too.
so I am looking at our show notes, and I'm tired of saying that I intently listen to my music. Got 10 more minutes here, 13 more minutes, but uh, so I came up with some acronyms for
You mean synonyms?
yeah, sorry, synonyms for intently, and I explained it to you. You and I talked on the phone. It's like I guess I can kind of distinctly hear the different layers in a song, like when you I don't know if bands still use this. There's a program called I think Bandcamp.
Oh yeah, lots of musicians use
No, no, no,
Bandcamp. It's a
no,
great
no,
site. Oh, you mean
no, no, no,
Fruity
no.
Loops? What do you mean?
Uh, uh, uh,
Oh, GarageBand. You mean?
Garage Band.
Yes, a
Garage.
lot of people still use GarageBand.
They still do.
Oh, 100%. Yes.
It was either that or what we learned about in school, Adobe Audition. You and I both went to the same broadcasting school,
Hmm.
the Broadcasting Institute of Maryland, no longer a school, but and anyway, so uh, I know. I think this was the way in Adobe Audition. I've never used Bandcamp before.
GarageBand?
GarageBand, but they'll have like in a recording studio, they'll have one, um, I guess channel, a wave. It will be a wave that you can see, and that will be like the drum. Then below that will be the bass, and then it will be the electric guitar, trumpets, whatever. So I can kind of distinctly hear that in my head when I'm listening to a song. And what I usually do when I'm listening is I try to listen to one, because you can't hear all the instruments all at the same time. Um, so I try to follow along to one instrument through the song. But I was tired of saying I intently. I listened to music intently. So I came up with some synonyms. I found some synonyms for intently. You got never even heard of this word. Amain, Amain, arduously, assiduous.
Assiduously.
Yeah, assiduously. I've heard that word before. Determinedly, diligently, doggedly, hard. I don't know about that. Hardly, industriously. There's the word intensely. Um, intensively, laboriously, mightily, purposely, resolutely, and feel free to use these words in your everyday conversations. Uh, sedulously, slavishly, strenuously. We were going to talk about the Taylor tributes for Taylor Hawkins. Did you watch any of it?
um, In regards to Taylor, I guess like if you don't mind, I could like take the next five, and I will if you lend me the next five, I can wrap up by 11:45, and we can do our concluding. We can do our conclusions. Um, why before we
For
were
the next 20 minutes.
so like we were gonna record this episode much earlier, and I was gonna talk about the VMAs, but like they're not significant to me right now, or like to the world, honestly. And it's so funny that we were going to talk about the VMAs because the Taylor Hawkins tribute was filmed on it was broadcasted to the world via MTV and Paramount Plus. And I wanted to talk about, instead of like the VMAs and stuff, about artists like the physical, mental, and financial health of musicians. Like I remember the night I was with some friends, we went to go see the Wonder Years. They did two back-to-back shows here in Philly, and they played two albums back to back. It was amazing. They performed super well. And we leave the show, we go to a bar, and we're sitting outside. I Google. I'm scrolling on Twitter, and I see that Taylor Hawkins has died. And whenever like a famous musician dies, I'm always curious to see how they passed. And that information is not public. And I'm still confused because a man at like a man at his age and his health, at least based on appearance, should not die so young. I felt the same way when Joey Jordison, formerly of Slipknot, died. And through some quick Googling, seen here on blabbermouth.net, Jordison had a neurological condition he overcame called acute transverse myelitis. And I'd never heard of that before, so I Googled it. And according to the internet, it is a rare neuroimmune spinal cord disorder. And like being as though like, Jordison's a drummer, like that does not sound good whatsoever. And when he died, like the information about his passing was private information. And I don't want to take away from that. But it's that I'm just disturbed that like, oops, sorry, dropped my cord. I'm trying to plug in my laptop here. I find it so disturbing that like folks leave this world long before their time. And I also like, and that thought takes me to recent information when I read about the bands Born of Osiris and Crystal Lake. I have another link up here on Microsoft Edge. I'm on metalinjection.com. And the guitarist Lee McKinley was returning home from the hospital. They were on tour with In Flames, and like they had to drop off because Lee was in a coma for 27 days. And, again, that information is private. So no need to know what happened, but it's just like, good Lord, like that's so scary. And like, I feel bad for like the financial toll it's going to take on the band. Like, Lord knows the label doesn't have that much money to keep them afloat until everyone's like ready to get back on the road again. And then I think about Crystal Lake, longtime vocalist Rio, leaving the band after being with the band for 10 years. And he wrote something like apologizing to the fans. And he writes, I have been suffering from adjustment disorder for 5 years. Some days I can't sleep. Some days I can only sleep. Sometimes everything becomes pitch black and you can't move like you're a corpse. There were many times where I could not stop crying before a live show. And it makes me so upset to know that like he decided to shoulder the burden for the sake of like his bandmates, the label, like the venue, and especially for the fans. And like I really it makes me feel some type of way. But then you think about the financial, and then you think about the mental and financial burden of like having to be like an artist on the road, like the band Light the Torch saying, hey, we don't have like the financial capacity to find adequate transportation for the band and the crew to go to shows, so we're not going to tour, and we'll just wait till like there's just more resources available. And the problem with like a global pandemic and having like an urgency to be on the road, to see fans all over the world, so so like you aren't forgotten in like the because there are so many people making music professionally, and it's hard to keep people's attention, especially when like radio plays a backseat to like in the grand scheme. Like primarily people are going to stream their songs, like not everyone can afford to use XM. And if you are going to listen to like terrestrial radio, like the big labels have like the entire just have the whole like game on lock. If you're not signed to like a big if you don't have a patron who's really gonna like who's gonna speak up for you, certainly not like the local DJ, because most likely their station it belongs to iHeart, and iHeart just has an obligation to like larger bands and larger acts. And I sincerely think that is a bad thing for like the culture and for the medium. And the last person I'll bring up is Miss Santagold, who was on Instagram talking about. I'm going to read everything that she wrote because like it really says a lot. It really just spoke to me, because she said, and you'll hear it when I read it, about how she feels bad that she can't go on the road, but she's proud that like she felt free enough to be honest about it. And I'm gonna pull it up right now. Thankfully, I'm logged into my account here on my laptop. Santigold.
And
Boom.
maybe I can respond to this, maybe in another episode.
That would be great because I think I would love to have your perspective on that.
That will be my homework.
There you go. All right. So where is it? Yeah, she was going to go on the Holified tour, but decided not to do so.
What is I will ask. I will say this,
Mm,
even though even though it's a question. So
please.
I should. I, anyway, um, what is adjustment disorder?
That's a great question because before today, I had no idea what the heck it was. Let's find out together real quick. Adjustment disorder is an emotional or behavioral reaction to a stressful event or change in a person's life. The reaction is considered an unhealthy or excessive response to the event or change within 3 months of it happening. That's kind of vague, and this comes from like the Johns Hopkins Medicine website. But when I read that, I'm kind of not surprised, considering like how strenuous a life on the road can be. Like sleeping on a bed on a bus every week. Playing a high intense show every night. Like you wake up in a different part of the world every single day. You're on buses, planes, vans, not eating very well. What I'm saying? Sure, there's a lot of drinking if that's what people are into when you're on the road.
I saw
Yeah,
a clip.
I beg your pardon?
I was actually going to say a joke. I mean, this is the truth. I was watching an interview with an actor named Walton Goggins. Um, he was in the movie Tomb Raider, and Alicia Vikander played Lara Croft,
Hmm.
and she was actually eating pretty healthy. Uh, I know it's called craft services, where that people in the entertainment industry how they get fed, whether actors or even musicians. But she was eating a lot of fish. Walter Goggins and other support roles in Lara Croft movie was getting like the scraps when Alicia wasn't eating. That's what you had mentioned, that they weren't eating healthy. Well, I mean, even a little bit of fish is healthy. Fish is very healthy. So I was just a little side note. But you said that music artists aren't eating very healthy. I think I like on the tour bus they'll eat like pizza, right?
I don't even know, honestly. It again varies from like act to act. It's just that now that I know that it's not like a specific like it can vary from person to person. I think about the last time I read, and I was listening to a podcast with Matt Halpern from Periphery and Finn McKenty, and Matt talked about like when you're home from the road and like you go right back out maybe 6 months later, the downtime can be kind of like strenuous if you don't have anything to occupy your time, like pets, children, like a spouse, or like a job when you're not on the road. And so like I guess I'm hoping that like then when Rio leaves Crystal Lake, like he'll get he'll get like the help that he deserves, just like because he was well beloved in the scene that he occupied. And I'm very sad that like it took this long for him to like make this time for himself. So getting back to Santa Gold and what she wrote in regards to canceling her tour, she says this. Let me look at the time. We have time. Okay, here we go.
We got about 10 minutes.
I am sad because it breaks my heart to disappoint those of you who consistently come out to show love and support me for what I do. Those who buy tickets and plan trips to come and see me. When I think of disappointing you all, I feel the disappointment deep in the pit of my stomach, and I was excited to finally be back with you in person to celebrate and bring the music of this new record to life. But for the past several years, we have all been through immense challenges: physical, mental, spiritual, economic. And yet, as we have begun to trudge on, much of the toll of that experience has been left unattended as we rush back in, attempting to make up for lost time, to reconnect, catch up on bills unpaid, to escape the insanity that had begun to set in. For many of us, the landscapes we are re-entering are not the same. As a touring musician, I don't think anyone anticipated the new reality that awaited us. After sitting idle, not being able to do shows for the past couple of years, many of us, like everyone else, earning little to no income, during that time, every musician that could rushed out immediately when it was deemed safe to do so. We were met with the height of inflation: gas, tour buses, hotels, flight costs. Many of our tried and true venues unavailable due to a flooded market of artists trying to book shows in the same cities, and positive test results constantly halting schedules with devastating financial consequences. All of that on top of the already tapped mental, spiritual, physical, and emotional resources of just having made it through the last couple of years. Some of us are finding ourselves simply unable to make it work. In my case, I have tried and tried, looked at what it would take from every angle, and I simply do not have it. I can't make it work. I'm actually going to elaborate on it more later because I think it's important for people to know the truth of what it's like out here for artists, and I don't believe enough of us are talking about it publicly. I've seen a couple articles start to emerge literally over the last few days, just as I had started writing this letter to you about musicians canceling tours, prioritizing themselves over the demands of a relentless industry. But for now, I want to tell you that for me, it has taken a toll: anxiety, insomnia, fatigue, vertigo, chronic pain, missing crucial time with my children. In the place I'm in the place that the music business is in, it feels like I have been hanging on, trying to make it to the ever distant finish line. But my vehicle's been falling apart the whole time. The bumper fell off, the wheels one at a time, the steering wheel, and finally the whole bottom fell out. And here I am thinking, should I just hold the doors up and run? And my little heart that's been working way beyond its limits, my whole body, in fact, my soul too, are screaming at me, no, motherfucker, pull the fuck over. So I'm gonna leave it at that. And I'm so happy to see so many people supporting her decision. And I also too like have nothing but love for Santa Gold. I've been listening to her music for like a decade, and we need more of this transparency from like the people giving their whole lives to this medium, and like to the people who consume their work and things of that nature. And so I think that people who are listening to these words should be ever present and cognizant of like the people working to like make the things that you love, even if it's not music, if it's film or it's food or books and things like that. Like we all have a role to play. And if you can afford to take on a little more, and like if we're being that with that, if it's just even just your time, like please do so. The folks that anticipate like the response of a consumer, like they will most certainly appreciate that. And I think that's all that I really have to say in regards to that. What are your thoughts on all of this, Mr. Catr?
Well, I said I would talk about it in another episode.
You still have 5 minutes. What's the elevator pitch, if you will?
Not familiar with that phrase, but just if you need help, uh, get the help that you need. That's my overall thing.
If it's even available to you, if it's even available to you in the first place, right?
Yeah. Um, there doc might be doctors that there might not be enough of those doctors, um, and the pandemic has definitely made it worse.
So, just so we can maybe talk about this live here, I'm thinking a mid-October release for our next episode 24. How do you feel about that?
Let me get back to you.
Certainly.
That should sound that does sound like it might work. Um, so we're probably not doing the Smashing Pumpkins, but
Unless someone wants to pay for it.
yeah, I don't know about that. I'll wait till you send that thing to me.
Yeah, I got
Air,
you. I got you.
Air. But yeah, I've really just been busy with work.
I can relate.
And yeah, like I said, I can't even convey how happy I was to get my CD Walkman.
Yeah. How much did it run you?
Don't remember, but it was pretty cheap actually.
That's a relief. I'm glad.
And yeah, I'm happy to do that. So I've been working, like I said, making copies of either my dad CDs. My brother doesn't have. I don't have. It's mostly my dad's CDs or mine. Um, that I keep in like Trapper Keepers. Uh, and
Oh, I need one of those. Thank you for bringing that up.
But it has sheets to slip a disc in. So, and some, it's not all my CDs, but it's CDs that I put in there from my collection and mostly and yeah, it's just, that's what I've been up to. We have 3 more minutes here. Um, oh, I did want to say, this kind of segues into what you were saying. I sent you an article. There was a newscaster who had a little bit of I guess a mini stroke on the air.
I heard about that.
And so if you're dealing with that issue, uh, make sure you get. She put it out on social media to share with um, her followers, so people knew if they uh, could recognize the signs and get help for themselves. So, am I stalling enough time for you? Because you didn't have a song when I talked with you right before we went live on the air. Do you have your song?
Yeah, I found it right as we were prepping to go live, and but I would also like to know the signs of when a person is having a stroke right in front of you and what you can do to help them. What is that?
Well, I mean, I can bring that up. Um, oh, that's on. Okay. So I sent that to you. Okay. So it is.
Right, so Messenger. I apologize. And pull that up. Should have that ready to go. Open in Messenger. Boom. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. NPR.
Yeah, I'll read it too. I'll read it. So it says
Here we go. How to
an
recognize signs of a
Oklahoma
stroke.
new. Let's see how long the article is.
It's pretty long, honestly. What are just the signs of a stroke?
How? Okay, so how to recognize signs of a stroke. The medical community uses the, and this is in all caps, Be Fast acronym. The medical community uses the Be Fast acronym to educate people on catching signs of a stroke. So you have balance. Is the person having a hard time staying balanced or coordinated? Eyes. Is the person experiencing blurry vision, double vision, or loss of vision in one or both of their eyes? Face. Is one side of the person's face drooping? Test test this by asking them to smile. Arms. Are they experiencing numbness or weakness in their arms? Ask them to raise their arms. Speech. Is the person's speech slurred? Are you having a hard time understanding them? Have them try to repeat a simple sentence. And finally, time to call for help. If the person is exhibiting one or a combination of the above signs, call 911 and get them to the nearest hospital as soon as possible. Other signs of a stroke may include numbness or weakness in other parts of the body, sudden confusion, or severe headaches.
There you have it. I'm glad that Julie Chin is okay.
Yes.
Shout out to Tulsa.
And she's doing her part to educate the public. So, do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
I would love to know your I'm eager to know your suggestion for me, which we will discuss on tomorrow's on our next episode.
Yeah. No, it won't be tomorrow. That would be a last minute, and I'm eager to give it to you. So, the artist is an artist I'm not sure how to pronounce, but I'm going to give it my best. Um, I I would venture to say it's pronounced Cocteau.
Oh, Cocteau Twins.
Cocteau Twins. So the song, do you know this song? It's called Lazy Calm.
I wouldn't say that I no, I wouldn't say that I do.
Okay, and it's from a greatest hits compilation called Stars and Topsoil, uh, colon a collection, and then in parentheses 1982 to 1990. So check out that song.
Can you repeat that for the audience one more time, please?
What, the name of the greatest hits?
Name of the song.
Oh, Lazy Calm.
And that's on the greatest hits, you say?
Yep.
Yeah, please send me a link to that because I've heard about this band before, but I never really listened to them like that. Honestly, I'm not gonna front.
Yeah, it says, let me bring it up. Why is it not doing this?
You pulling it up on iTunes?
Yeah, I'm going to read what it says, but it won't let me. Um, there's, there's two, I've probably mentioned this in an episode. There's the under songs when you pull up the CD on iTunes. There's, I mean, it's not always the case. There's an iTunes review, and then
Uh
you can
huh.
go, and then you can go to ratings and reviews right next to it, and it'll have an album review.
Ooh.
And I'm not sure what the difference is, but I
Wait, I do.
I always love it when it has at least one. Sometimes they take the review away, and there's nothing, there's no iTunes review, and there's no album review. If you know, don't keep it to yourself. Tell me what's the difference.
Well, one's like one person clearly works for for Apple, and the other is just like for an actual just like music reviewer who's not like associated with the company.
Yeah, sometimes there's a third party company, and it would say it at the end of it. Um, they don't have it. They don't have who and what company for either for the album review. The iTunes review is shorter, so I'll read that one,
Okay.
and maybe next time I'll read the other one. Long before dream pop was a genre, Robin Guthrie and I'm gonna guess Simone Raymond, Simon, and then Raymond of the Grangeland, Scotland-based Cocteau Twins were pioneering the sound. These songs chronologically span the twins' tenure on 4 AD before they signed to Fontana Capital for 1993's Four Calendar Cafe, the album where Fraser first sang in proper English. Before that, her vocal approach focused on creating abstract textures and sounds with her beautiful soprano. Blind Dumb Deaf from 82's Garlands opens with an immediately decipherable nod to Joy Division's dark pulsing bass lines and early 80s Cure. The following sugar hiccup from 83's Head Over Heels finds Guthrie and Raymond moving away from gothy post punk trappings and explore new six string soundscapes, which would be further realized in the gauzy chimes of pearly drops, and the seductive, I guess it's pronounced Lorelei, Lorelei. Victoria Land's opening track, Lazy Calm, solidified their sound, ushering in an Eno like ambience under Fraser's ethereal inflections. The standout songs, Carolyn's Fingers and Heaven or Las Vegas, infused accessible pop melodies. And by the way, I love that word trappings.
Hmm.
It's sort of a new word for me, but I can kind of explain what it means, and the best way I can is their sound. Um, uh, but Eno, by the way, is Brian Eno, who was in the group Roxy Music, and then he ventured on a solo career. I think he's more pop. I think it seems to me he's more popular as a solo act uh, with his ambience because I don't think Roxy Music was ambient. So yeah, that's it for me. What you have about 12 minutes. You want to tell me your song now?
So one of my favorite illustrators, Jonah the Unknown. I will be dropping his website into the comments after the stream is over. Sent me something on TikTok. There's this Japanese pianist called named Fuji Kaze, and in 2020 he released an album called Help Ever, Hurt Never. And the lead single, there's a performance he did I think later that year, and the song is really hard to pronounce, so I'm gonna try my best.
Kind of like what I did with Cocteau Twins.
Um, yeah, and so the song is called Shin Woga Iwa, and I'm gonna send it to you. Send it to you via Messenger, and it's best described as just like an upbeat R&B song. And I'm gonna read some of the lyrics because I That's really what drew me to the song because it made me feel some type of way. And the chorus reads, I want you to be my last. If I had to keep being separated from you like this, I'd rather die. I choose you over 3 meals a day if I had to keep being separated from you like this. And
Stevie
that's
should follow that guy's advice.
listen. No, but I honestly, but it's funny you say that because I'm pretty sure Fuji Kaze definitely heard like "Knocks Me Off My Feet" and like a piano player himself, he's like, "Yo, this man's spitting." And I gotta write my own lyrics, and so I'm it's right now. This song is my current obsession, and when I heard about it, I told Joan, I'm like, "Yo, I'm about to listen to this song like every day." And I haven't these days recently, and now like listening to it is like a treat. So I'm hoping that this one like pulls you in. I know that like we kind of miss the mark on one another every so often when we recommend each other's songs. So I'm hoping to like get back into that, and I'm hoping that the audience looks into it as well. It is as the kids say, a banger. So with that said, the time is 11:55 a.m. September 28th, 2022. Thank you for making the time to listen to us today.
Hey,
We're back from what's that? Hey, what?
oh, I was going to give you some homework.
Homework? Okay. Give me the assignment.
Two homeworks. Find out
2
why.
assignments.
Find out why I only had 18 tracks for the Cat Stevens CD.
Nope, not happening. I'm not doing that. I'm sorry.
Okay. You could do this on the air if you want, or do it for homework. I want
What's
to
up?
know a little bit about Stevie Wonder's band.
Which like the people who played in his band?
Yeah.
Okay. I can do that.
Who played piano in "Knocks Me Off My Feet"? Who
He
played the
did. He
bass?
played everything in that song.
So for most of his albums, it was just him.
Honestly, yeah, I think it
Played the
was. And
bass. Okay.
yeah, him. Yeah, I think it's like if you go to genius.com, it has some of the credits for like songs in the
I'm
key of
not
life.
doing that.
And what? Wow,
Ha ha
wow.
ha ha ha. You said that to
I'll
me.
hold that. I'll hold that. No, but yeah, from what I can tell, it was mainly just like Stevie does most of the work. But I'm sure like the cast of characters like is a constant revolving door and things of that nature. Um,
Currently, I am putting my homework in, which is um, sometime in October, but I need to. Uh, oh, wait, no, we don't want to do that. I want to, let's see, I'm going to put in our notes October episode colon response to health of artists and read other review of Cocteau Twins. Alrighty.
cool. So, as per usual, my friends, my enemies, our beloved listeners, people of Earth, drink plenty of water this week. When you leave your home, please wear a mask over your nose and under your mouth. Um, Look yourself in the mirror at least once a day and say, I love you. If you cannot do that, please know that Catr and I love you in the most platonic and supportive way possible. Black Lives Matter, Queer Lives Matter, justice for the life of Masa Amini. Iran, we hear you, we support you, we love you. Um, Catr, please say goodbye to the people out there in the world. Thank you for being here with me this morning.
Goodbye to the people out there in the world. Thank you for being with me here this morning.
Godspeed to all. Thank you for listening to the Catr and Kenard podcast. Until next time.